Hi, I'm Rachel with 7 in All, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite Spanish picture books to read with toddlers. We are a bilingual family, but my husband is the native Spanish speaker, and I'm less confident in speaking Spanish, but reading Spanish books with my toddler, with my infant, is one of the best ways that I can participate in sharing the Spanish language with them and in getting to learn more about Latin American culture myself. So these have been some of our favorite books over the past couple of years. I am always looking forward to building my Spanish library as my children grow. So if you have any great Spanish picture book recommendations, let me know. I am eager to grow our library, try out different books. But these are some of the books that we've really enjoyed. I have both picture books and some longer stories to share with you today. So let's get started. I have a mix of some that are translations of English classics translated into Spanish, some that were originally written in Spanish, and some that aren't completely Spanish, kind of a mix, but they share a lot about Latin American culture or Mexican culture. So there's a mix here, but they've all been books that we really enjoyed for one reason or another. I'll start with the board books. We have Buenas noches, Luna. Of course, it's the translation of Good Night, Moon. This has been one of my son's favorite books from when he was probably 6 months old. I know some people don't like it. It's been parodied quite a bit, but I really enjoy it, and I think in Spanish it just has a really beautiful rhythm to it. It goes over a lot of very practical vocabulary. So this has been a fun one. Loteria is a very basic book, Loteria by Patty Rodriguez and Ariana Stein. It's very basic. It has the style of just one word on a page. But what's clever about it is that it is designed around the Loteria game, which I never even knew existed until someone gave us this book. And then I learned a little bit more about the game and asked my husband about it. So it's kind of a creative idea, I think, a creative concept on the First Words book. So we've enjoyed this one. We have this one, which is also a translation of a book that was originally in English. This is Quiero a mi papá, ¿por qué? But what I really like about this book, on each reason it has, on each page it's talking about a different reason that a kid loves their dad. But what's cool is that it has different animals, and it tells you the name of the animal and the name of its infant of that animal in Spanish, which is very interesting to me because these aren't just the normal animals, cow, duck, pig, the ones that you learn very easily. These are the names for beaver or muskrat or chimpanzee or porcupine or gorilla or fox. The slightly more obscure animals, and especially the names of the baby animals in Spanish. This was new information for me, so I enjoyed learning from it, and I enjoy having this book to read with my sons. And the last board book I'll mention is Dios te bendiga y buenas noches. This is a translation of the book God Bless You and Good Night, which is just really, really sweet. I think it was very beautifully translated. The Spanish is beautiful. It's rhyming and very poetic. A nice last thing before bed kind of read. Makes you sleepy, makes me sleepy by the end of it. So we've enjoyed those. Then, for kind of the longer stories that we've been able to read as my toddler is growing in his ability to appreciate stories and sit through longer stories, we do have the Jesus Storybook Bible in a Spanish version, Biblia para Niños Historias de Jesús, and I love it. I think sometimes reading the Spanish one, I cry even more often reading these stories. It can get pretty emotional, but we enjoy reading this together. One of my son's most favorite books is Eres tú mi mamá. For him, this is a dramatic story with a lot of emotion in it, with the baby bird looking for his mother. This is quite a dramatic story. My son's favorite part is, of course, the snort, the big machine. that the bird finds. This is the most thrilling part of the story. But of course, this is an old classic, but we enjoy reading it together in Spanish. This is a relatively new book for us, Where Are You From? By Yamil Saed Mendez. And this book is actually not in Spanish, but it does have some Spanish terms throughout. And it's a very cool book, especially for kids from mixed ethnicity or mixed cultural background, or kids living in a country where they weren't born or where their families aren't from. It really kind of delves into those questions of identity and roots and culture in a very simple way, and the illustrations are just beautiful. It's about a little girl trying to talk to her abuelo about where is she from, and his story of where she's from. So my son really loves this one. There's a lot of birds in the illustrations, and he loves birds, so that might be his biggest draw. But I love how the story addresses roots and culture. Now this book is just really, really funny. El Chiquero. I think it's especially funny for moms who deal with messy children's bedrooms. It's a very funny story. It was originally Pigsty in English. It is a translation, but we have also enjoyed this one. And this is La Familia Bola by Monica Carretero. This is hilarious. This is still a bit advanced for my son because it's quite a long and involved story. But when I want to read a book more like this, I'll do it when he's in the high chair after a snack. He's finished his snack, but he still kind of has some time to just sit there and listen to a longer story. That's when we'll do a book like this. This is a book about a family of pillbugs or roly-polies and their adventures and their grand theater performances that they produce. The Spanish is quite advanced for me, so I don't understand everything in it, but it's hilarious all the same. It's quite a unique book right here, La Familia Bola. I had never heard of it until someone gave it to us, but it's been a lot of fun. And then Las Abuelas de Liliana by Leila Torres. I think this book is one that, again, we especially appreciate as a family from two different cultures. This is about a little girl who has one grandma who only speaks English and one grandma who only speaks Spanish, and talks about the differences when she visits one grandma versus the other grandma. And it's quite a beautiful, beautiful little storybook, and there's a parrot and a kitty that my son really loves to follow throughout the story. He always keeps track of the pets. And this one is also on the theme of grandma, Abuela by Arthur Doros. The illustrations in this book are super fun. It's not super long, not a ton of words per page, but just a fun adventure between a grandma and her granddaughter. We enjoyed this. And then one of my son's all-time favorites is Niño Wrestles the World by Yuyi Morales. This book is primarily in English, but the whole concept is following a little boy who is playing luchador, and he is fighting against different mythical creatures, several of which have their roots in Mexican or Latin American folk tales like La Llorona, or in interesting historical finds. I learned about Las Momias de Guanajuato from this book. It's very over the top, very silly, but it's a lot of fun, and can start bringing out some interesting mythical stories, folk stories. So these are some of our favorites. We do have a few more, mostly just translations of English books, and I'm very interested in expanding my collection, particularly of books originally written in Spanish, because I think those are the ones I learn the most from, because they're different from my home culture. But these are the books that we're using as we begin our journey into raising bilingual kids and figuring out life as a family with Mexican roots on one side and Midwestern Caucasian roots on the other side. So these are our favorite books. Make sure that you tell me your recommendations, because if I ever, get a little birthday money for the boys or something. I definitely like to work on building our library as they grow. If you have liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to see more videos of our adventures together and of our adventures in homeschooling and raising bilingual kids. I enjoyed talking to you today. Bye!